Sculpting abs is more about drawing attention to a specific area on the body. Sure, you can bulk your abs all day long, but if you don't develop an aesthetic look or an aesthetic appeal, they just don't really draw or command the attention that you're really looking for with a six-pack. So if you look back at like the Arnold Schwarzenegger days and the Franco Columbu days, the early bodybuilding, Frank Zane, all those guys, it was all about creating an illusion. Now, you can make a practical illusion. What I mean by that is a body that still goes. So a lot of times the old saying is all show, no go. You can still have a functional body that is aesthetic. It's just all about activating the right muscles, but also drawing attention to the body at the same time. So what I'm gonna show you here is how to train the serratus muscles. Okay, the serratus muscles are these little guys that tie into the abs. Okay, so they look like they're your ribs, but they're actually muscles that tie into your abs. And what they do is they actually allow the scapula to work. So they're part of the back in a weird way. I mean, not technically, but how they actually work within the body. But when it comes down to the visual side of things and how they look, they draw in as sort of a leading line kind of thing into your abs. Now what I mean by that is if you go to like photography 101, it's all about leading lines. You always want to draw into your focus point. And the nice thing is that the human body is set up with the serratus muscles already being the leading lines right into your six-pack. So even if you're not super lean, if you have well-developed serratus muscles, it can create this illusion and make your waist look even smaller. So I'm going to show you 4 really simple ways that you can train the serratus muscles just as an afterthought. You can do it just hanging around at the house or part of your workout. So quickly before I start, just got to remind you, I am the lead trainer and head nutritionist over at SixPackAbs.com. So if you haven't already, make sure you check them out. Make sure you check out my Ketox ketogenic diet program and my science-based six-pack intermittent fasting program that's down below in the description. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get started. So the first one that you can do is super simple. It's a modified plank with a rise up. And all that's gonna be, you can do it a couple different ways. You can just do it on your elbows, hop into a regular plank position, and what you wanna do is you wanna bend at the hips and drive up, okay? And you just gonna go through this motion. Not only is this really good for your range of motion, it actually helps build some flexibility into the lats, but this motion in itself really engages that serratus. So all you have to do is go through, maybe do 20 reps of this or so, and if you want to do it from your hands, you can do that as well. It's a little bit more advanced and allows a little bit more scapular flexibility, but same thing, go into the plank, and down. Plank, and up, plank, and up, plank, and up. You can see my serratus is engaging right through there. Now, that leads me into the next thing that you can do while you're already in that position. Simple scapular push-ups. Now, push-ups as a whole are really good for the serratus muscles. You're gonna feel those. But when it comes down to stabilizing your back, stabilizing the scapula, you use them a lot. So even scapular push-ups, where you're just doing this, uses those serratus muscles a lot. So you can go ahead and you can get in a standard push-up position, and you don't go all the way down. You just relax the scapula, do a scapular push-up, and then flex up. Scapular push-up, you just come down, flex up. Scapular push-up. So it's a really small movement. This is also really good for scapular stability. So if you're someone that suffers with maybe some upper trapezius pain or just upper back pain in general, maybe if you work at a desk, this is something that you should be doing because this is going to help strengthen that. But it just so happens to train those serratus muscles really well. So a great complement to any kind of abdominal workout. Next one is of course going to be rollouts. This is one of the best ways to target the serratus muscles. The hard part with it is it's a little bit more of a difficult movement. So this may or may not be for you depending on your level of skill and your experience. But let me show you at least how to do it properly. So a lot of people will end up doing their rollouts like this. They'll just kind of tuck their butt back. That's not really doing us a lot of good. That's a great stretch. But what we need to do is we need to have the upper body strength to keep most of the weight kind of actually on the upper part of your body. So you want to actually have your weight coming through your hands. About 60% of the weight going through on your hands and about 40% on your knees. And come out like that. And it's the torque and the pressure that you put down on your upper body that actually draws the serratus in. So you can see my serratus being activated right here and then contracting. It starts to get activated, gets stretched, and contracts. Nice thing about these, you don't have to do much of them to engage the serratus. That's going to be the part of your body that fatigues the first, outside of your shoulders, of course. Okay, and then last but not least is going to be a little bit more of an advanced variation of hanging leg raises. Now, I'm well aware that hanging leg raises are difficult to begin with, so you may or may not be ready for this one, but it is a killer when it comes down to not just serratus, but also internal, external obliques, and the rectus abdominis, the main abs as well. So this is gonna be a single leg hanging leg raises. So I'm coming in one leg at a time. And you can see the activation there. It's hard for me to even talk while I do these. These are really tough. So by doing that, you only have to do a couple of them. You're disengaging one side, which is forcing you to get a tighter contraction. Normally, it's tough to bring both legs in because your back is generally gonna be too tight. Your back's gonna be tight, your hamstrings are gonna be tight. Unless you have a bunch of flexibility, it's really tough to engage that serratus the way that you want with a hanging leg raise. Now, just a general hanging leg raise by itself is also powerful. So if you wanted to do it just with your knees bent as an easier modification, you can turn to the side and really get them too. But if you wanted to go single leg, you could do that, twist to the side. Other side, single leg. So just this whole motion itself gets them engaged. But you really have to kind of pivot at the torso, not just at the hips. Now, this isn't designed to be like a full-blown workout. This is designed to be auxiliary, okay? It's something you can add at the end of the day. You can add at the end of your workout just to polish those little muscles off. Remember, they're a stabilizer, so they don't require a ton of work. They just require to be touched on. And if you are sitting at a desk a lot, or your stand-up desk even still, you're not engaging them all the time. So all these muscles need to stay activated. There's just a little bit of tension on them. So do this 3 times per week, and you'll notice very, very quickly that you develop those leading lines into your abs. So even if you can't see your six-pack yet, it's gonna make it so that when you do, they look all the more wowing. As always, keep it locked in here with SixPackAbs.com, and I'll see you in the next video.